so we should be able to go live. I am pressing go live now.
All right. Are we live? All right, well, we're trying this again. We had a little, and this is our last one. So, ending. So, for those of you moms and dads who are super excited your kids are going ending. So, for those of you moms and dads who are super excited your kids are going back to school. But who said it? But basically, someone said that we are all products of dead philosophers' thoughts. And I think it's really important to kind of recognize, because we all are influenced by these people who've written these things, and we don't even realize it. And I know what you're thinking. As Christians, to understand how the world thinks so that we know and we can kind of see through and compare it against the gospel. So, that was a long intro. I apologize to you all. So let me ask you this. First of all, let me talk to you about what a philosophical movement is. So for those of you who are in the room, if you want to chat, you can. And if you think back to what was happening during that time frame and during that period, right? During the Enlightenment, really would be medieval times where there's a lot of basically serfs and lords and all this stuff, and you just kind of did as you were told. You were either in that upper class and you owned land, or you were just kind of a serf and you just did what you could get by. And somewhere along the way, when the Enlightenment happens and people start getting educated, they start being able to read, and they start saying, you know what, I want freedom. I don't want to be a vassal or a serf anymore. I want a say in how the government is run. I'm tired of seeing all these rich, spoiled, kings and queens, however you want to say it, just kind of doing this. I want to be able to look at things objectively and through it, because for the first time I have this ability to be able to
read. They wanted the rights, and that was what was fought over.
Sure.
That
most of them are about how old now? I don't want to try to think
40s.
about that. No,
50s,
43 is
60s.
but yeah, 43.
the young and older.
50, but was it mid 40s to 60 now? They're starting to move. If you think about it, because someone mentioned this earlier, right? Like all the people in Congress and everything, they're all like 50, 60, 70, 80, right? The position of power is going to be people who are in 50 to 70 in the course of our culture. It's just the way it is. Every culture, everyone you look at. And so right now, because as we move into this culture, it's going to continue to progress with postmodernism. But eventually the millennials are going to take over, so I don't know if we should be more terrified or more hopeful in that. I don't know. But basically what the byproduct of what they believe is going to start showing up in about 10, 15 years. And it's important for us to kind of recognize and be ready. What you're seeing is already these changes in academia. What you're seeing is it's starting to slowly kind of make its way into our TV shows and everything. So and I'll use this as an example, and then I need to kind of close this here. So how many of you have ever seen the TV show The Office?
Yeah.
All right. So compare that to Seinfeld, right? Seinfeld is everything was meaningless. Everything was hopeless. I love the ending to Seinfeld, because if you've never seen the TV show, some people, it's actually, most people universally hate it. But basically, it is so typical. Basically, at the end of the show, it basically said, you have spent 9 years of your life watching these horrible people do horrible things to people, and you've laughed at it along the way. What does that say about you? That was kind of the point. But it's very much so, it's just like, it's that postmodern, it's so sad, it's miserable, nihilistic, skeptical, Contrast that with The Office, right? At the end of The Office, with everything that happens in the TV show The Office, there's always a little bit of hope. There's always something. Even though Dwight and Jim should be arch enemies, they end up being best friends, And it's one of those things, and so like I said, that goes more into kind of what the next kind of movement that they think is coming out, which is called meta-modernism, but we don't have time for that. So anyway, but my point being is this, is that there's already starting to be a slight shift. It's going to take 20 years for there to be a complete shift, but there is starting to be a shift, and I think that's important. So I've done a lot more talking than I meant to tonight. We covered a lot of ground. Hopefully I didn't confuse you. Hopefully you found this helpful. The reason why I shared this and did all this is because it's so important for us as Christians. How do we live in this world? How do we defend our faith in this world? It starts with knowing who we're talking to and where they're operating from. Questions, thoughts, comments?
question about He-Man.
Okay, you have a question about He-Man, yes.
He can't answer it. He didn't watch the whole series.
No, I mean this new thing.
Yeah.
Did Battle Cat die with?
No.
I think Battlecat's still alive. I don't know.
No. See, you can't ask him. He's judging on something he didn't see.
Someone,
His truth.
It's the truth.
someone decided to ruin my childhood, so I refuse to give
You don't know.
any
You haven't seen it.
ratings.
You
to
haven't
them.
seen it.
You're right. I haven't seen it.
You should.
I don't want
I don't
to.
know.
Okay.
Why?
Like, this
It
is